Welcome inside the Hall of Fame. I'm Booker T, six-time world champ, two-time Hall of Famer. Got my man Brad Gilmore here with me, guys, and we're ready to do this thing. I'm coming off of a 10.5-hour flight from London. Just landed, just walked in the studio literally about 5 minutes ago, so I'm looking a little haggard right now, perhaps. But I was not going to not do this show today. I want to start the show off by sending my thoughts and prayers to a friend of mine, Scott Hall, who's going through a whole lot right now, battling for his life. Was taking off life support, and from what I've been reading is he's still fighting, man. He's still fighting, and I'm going to be fighting with him until the end, man. Scott Hall is a good friend of mine, man. I'm sitting here drinking a cup of coffee right now. Scott Hall, my nickname for Scott Hall was Joe DiMaggio. Because I drink so much coffee back in the day, and every time you would see me, Joe DiMaggio, you got your cup, you know what I mean? Yeah, I got me a cup, you know what I mean? But yeah, man, sad news. I'm hearing that overseas. I was at my table and I looked at my phone and I saw that. And oh man, I just broke down there for a second. But there again, man, thoughts and prayers going out to Scott Hall and his family.
Razor Ramon, Scott Hall, one of the greatest characters, one of the greatest, all-around performers. I never had the privilege, to my knowledge, I don't think I've ever met Scott Hall, but I've heard a lot of stories about him, and that clip has been going around from his Hall of Fame speech about, hard work pays off, dreams come true, bad times don't last, but bad guys do, right? And I'm just hoping that the bad guy can kick out, because there's a survey out right now and everybody wants him to. And I love Scott Hall. I love that character. Everything that he did inside the square circle is obviously how I know him. You know him as the human being. Just always sad. But the fact, and I'm not a doctor or a medical expert, but I would like to think that the fact that they took him off and he's still fighting and his heart's still beating and his body's still working, I'd like to think that's encouraging. I don't know. Again, I'm not a doctor, but that, to me, I'm encouraged by that. So yeah. I'm just trying to remain optimistic and hope that he pulls through it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say farewell until the end or anything like that. I'm not gonna even, put myself in that place or anything like that. I'm definitely going, like I said, I'm gonna fight with Scott Hall. I'm gonna pray for Scott Hall as much and as hard as I possibly can for him to come through this thing, man. And there again, he's in a fight. He's in a fight for his life. And if anybody can do it, man, if anybody, I'm sure I've got the will to stick around here, man, it's going to be Scott Hall. So there again, man, thoughts and prayers go out to Scott and his family. Got a chance to talk to another one of my friends, Brian Knobs, a couple of days ago, because I've been looking for him. I know he had been going through some problems back in late 2021, and he called me, "Hey, Buck, what's going on?" Same old Knobs, you know what I mean? Still, I'm going through a little bit, but still there again, man, fighting and struggling. That's why I said I was, definitely going to get this show done today, because guys like that are truly the soldiers to the game, man, and they meant so much to the game. And there again, I've only had a few guys in this business that I could call like friends, and Scott Hall is definitely one of those guys. He's definitely Kevin Nash, definitely one of those guys. Brian Knobs, my brother from another mother. That's what we always say around each other. You know what I mean? So definitely there again, man, thinking about these guys.
The story I always remember that you tell about Scott Hall was it was WCW. He was there. NWO was running wild. They were the hottest thing in pro wrestling. And if I get any of this wrong, please correct me. But Scott Hall came up to you, I think, at a Nitro or one of the shows, and was trying to recruit you to join the NWO. And I believe his line was, "Hey, Book, we need some color, bro." Is that his line?
Which was flattering, man. It was a flattering, opportunity for me. But I passed up on it. But for him to, think about, putting me in the NWO, it definitely let me know he was thinking about, a friend and bringing me up. I'm sure that's what it was all about. But I was like in that mode. I was like, bro, I'm a solo act. I'm gonna ride this one out. But definitely, man, Scott Hall, one of a kind.
Yeah, there was I guess people just out there just sharing just jokes that he would tell and stuff like that. Just trying to keep the positive vibes out there for Scott Hall. And somebody shared it. I don't remember who. One of the boys put out a thing like one time they were working a show and they were trying to figure out when the intermission was. I guess I'm guessing it was a house show, and they're trying to find out when the intermission was. And he went up to Scott and he goes, "Hey, do you know when intermission is?" And Scott goes, "When it's your match, bro." so definitely a sharp tongued devil.
That's a good one.
That is a good one. I'm stealing that. I'm using that. Anybody ever asks me, "Hey, when's the break in the show?"
Oh man,
bro.
What is your match?
And so yeah, we're just sending positive love to Scott. We're not going down memory lane or anything like that because the bad guy's still out there and he's gonna go. He's got one more run as far as I'm concerned. Book. He's got one more run. But Knobs was doing good.
Yeah, man, he's doing good, man. He's doing good. Actually, I sent him a text. I don't think he got it because he didn't get back with me, and it's probably just because of the overseas connection, and whatnot. He wanted me to do some stuff for him here late in the month, and I'll get back with him here today. But yeah, man, he's doing good, man. He's in good spirit. He told me, man, can't drink no more alcohol, man. I'm like, well, maybe that's a good thing on your liver,
in your life. Yeah, I mean, he probably drank enough for 10 lifetimes, according to the stories I've heard from you and others.
I was serious. Last time he told me that, man, I'm not drinking anymore, and I was at the bar, and he walks up and he tells the bartender, "Give me one of those, what he's having." Mine had liquor in it. So that didn't last very long. Knobs, stick to the plan, bro. Just stick to the plan. I know the doctors told you to stay off the sauce, man. Stay off the sauce, man. Stay off the sauce. We want you around for a minute.
Stay off of it. Stay off it. Well, again, much love to all those guys. And it's always, it's one of those constant life reminders too, though. It's just you don't know what God's plan is, and but we're on God's time, BT, and I'm thankful. I'm thankful for everything that we've had thus far. I'm thankful that we had a killer reality wrestling show on Saturday, and you know what I thought it was, because sometimes like when you're not there, I'm thinking it's like, okay, the teacher's not in the class, we got a substitute, right? So let's act out.
Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin's the substitute, so let's all act out a little bit. Pressure's off. But I'm gonna give everybody in the locker room credit. Everybody stepped up to the 10th degree and said, "Look, Booker's not here, so we got to make sure that everything's on the straight and narrow. We got to pretend like he is here and he's watching every one of our matches, and we got to think like he thinks." And everybody did. We had a sellout, standing room only crowd. We had our version of the Royal Rumble on Saturday night. We had one of the best matches I've ever seen at Reality Wrestling, which was a tag team ladder match. It was a great show. So if you missed out on Saturday night at Reality Wrestling, you for sure missed out. It was a great night.
Hey man, I just wish I could have been there, man. I know the guys was going to work hard. I got a chance to actually chat with them before the show got kicked off, and I always say, man, just take your time, man. Just take your time. If you think you're going too slow down just a little bit more. It's one of those type of deals. The crowd don't mind if you get it right, you know what I mean, and take your time and get it right. They do mind if you go out there and screw it up, So for me, I can't wait to go back and watch the footage, as well as I can't wait to the next go round with Reality Wrestling. I think that's going to be going down here at the end of the month in Dallas, Texas. It's going to be on, man. It's going to be on. I cannot wait to the end. I got the old bones all lubricated, oiled up, and ready. But we got to take a break. We'll talk about that here in a minute. Stick around. We'll be back in a minute. You're worth it.
Walker Texas Ranger handles the bad guys with a roundhouse kick. I'm Jim Walker, Walker Texas lawyer. I handle the insurance companies with a roundhouse kick to the wallet. If you've been injured in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident, give me a call at 713-552-1117 or visit my website at walkertexaslawyer.com. You'll be glad you did. Why would you call anyone else?
Can you dig it, sucker? Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. We're talking about Booker T. We're talking about, trying to stay in shape. We're talking about getting ready. Not just getting ready, but staying ready so we ain't got to get ready. I'm going down at the end of this month, guys. Booker T will be stepping back inside the squared circle, along with my homie and former tag team partner, goes all the way back to 2004. Mr. RVD, along with Ruthless Ryan Davidson. We're going to go down to Dallas, Texas, guys. We're going to go down to Dallas, Texas. And Max Humberto, we're going to beat the hell out of him. Charlie Haas, I cannot wait to put hands on that boy just one more time, because the last time I was in the ring with Charlie Haas, I slapped the taste out of his mouth, and I'm wondering, has it come back yet? And I don't know who the other guy is that they have on the team, but I'm going to tell you right now, somebody's going to get the hell beat out of them come the 31st of this month. It's going down. Don't miss out. Don't get shot. Hey, guys, if you can't be in Dallas, Texas, go to realitywrestling.com and get your information on how you can check this thing out. It will be on Fight TV. Do not miss out. You're talking about the return. This is the only return you need to be thinking about. Trust me.
Boom. Look at that. Still can cut a promo even fresh off a flight like that. Exactly what Book said. If you want to watch this show and you are not in the Dallas, Texas area for WrestleMania 38 weekend, go to fighttv.com or go to realitywrestling.com and you can see this show. You can buy a 2-show pass if you want to see. Look at that shucky ducky and a quack quack to you. You can buy a 2-day pass if you would like for it to, because you can do, again, the Sherry Martel Classic and the Texas Showdown, both shows on a 2-day live streaming pass that goes down in Dallas, Texas. So go ahead and do that. Because you know what, Book? I believe one of the last times that you and Rob Van Dam tagged with one another, you beat 3 other teams at WrestleMania to retain your tag team championship. So it's only fitting that you go into WrestleMania weekend tagging with Rob again.
You know what's crazy is Rob, he was like, Book, do you still got it? Like, do you still got it? Yeah, do you still got it? Now, do you still? So we got something we got to prove to ourselves, to each other. This is and one thing about the old school, which is the best school, that's the one thing we did on a regular basis, and that was compete against each other. And on the 31st, it's not gonna be any different. I'm still striving to be the best I can possibly be in every area, and hopefully stepping inside that square circle, something will not pop. more important than anything. And we will entertain you guys to the highest degree. Cannot wait. Moving along, I just want to give shout out. I spoke maybe 3-4 weeks ago, actually misspoke about 3 or 4 weeks ago about my girl Roxy getting signed to a contract with WWE. Well, now, boom, it's official. Congratulations to Roxy for making her way inside the WWE. I cannot wait to see the career of this young lady, because I'm going to tell you right now, this is a dream come true for Roxy, and to actually live it out is special, more than anything. And and then I read a lot of the, I can't help it. I read a lot of the comments, and people just, it's just a lot of haters out there. A lot, like people saying, she's not going to make it in WWE. She's well, this, that, whatnot, and the other. But the one thing I want to say more important than anything is Roxy, at 20 years old, has done more in her 20 years than most of the people writing most of these comments is going to do in their lives. You know what I mean? So I just say, keep posting your comments. It's fuel to the fire, more so than anything, because I want to see Roxy one day make her walk, inside the Hall of Fame. I hope to see Roxy being, perhaps that leader, 20 years from now. And people saying, man, we got to see, we want to see Roxy come back, for one more, so for me, it's about, I ain't gonna, buy into the hate or anything like that. Roxy is definitely special. And there again, congratulations for making it to that next level.
It's awesome to see. I've always been a fan of Roxy when she came into the gym at 15 or 16 years old. She had the spark, and now it's cool to see her there. It's always fun though, also to turn on the TV. Like last week, I turned on NXT 2.0, and I always don't get a chance to catch NXT 2.0, but I watched it last week, and boom! As soon as I turn it on, there's Draco Anthony.
Yeah.
Right. There's Draco Anthony, a reality wrestling student. So I would love to turn it on and see multiple row students. And I think that's what's going to happen with Roxy. It was only a matter of time, though. Certain people, it's like, it's a matter of time. She's going to get picked up somewhere after being the first Ring of Honor Women's World Champion. It was either WWE or AEW for her, in my opinion. And she's with what do they call it back in the day? She's with New York. She's in New York.
Yeah. What's so awesome is it seemed like it happened, boom, like that overnight. And I always wondered, like just say for instance, back in the day when my brother and we got into it, and within 2 years we were in WCW from getting into the wrestling school. 2 years later, we're in WCW and we're in a major wrestling company. That doesn't happen too often. So for me, I'm proud to be able to produce, the Draco Anthony's, the, AQAs, the Roxys, and get them there at such an early age. Hopefully that's something that they can, almost on the job training that they can learn, along the way, kind of like the Hardy Boyz came in kids and grew up to be men, in that company. So hopefully, reality of wrestling could be that forum league to actually do that. I want to give a shout out to WWE also for making me a trainer in the video game. You got to go through Booker T's training, to make it to the next level in 2K21. So hey, big ups, man, big ups. The wrestling school is taking off.
And I want to give a shout out to I think it was Nick Holiday who sent it over from Culture Inc. But he sent over a screenshot too, to where after you are trained by Booker T and you go to WWE, if you start causing problems or putting in a bad performance, Booker T slides in your DMs and you and Booker T start having a conversation about how you can't let me down, kid. Right? Did you see that screenshot?
Oh man, that's cool though. Just lets me know the hard work that we've put in at Reality of Wrestling, guys. 17 years we've had our school now. 17 years. That's unique. That's uncanny to actually be able to, fuel a wrestling school for that long. And then now be at a point to where it's actually getting bigger. It's pretty awesome, So for me, it's just that stamp of approval saying Reality Wrestling is doing something right.
100%. 100%. Well, Book, there's several other things that we could talk about, but there is a big piece of news that dropped today. I mean, we're almost at a break.
Yeah,
I guess
we have 3 minutes. We good.
There was a big piece of news that dropped. But you know what? Actually, before we get to that, you mentioned the Hardy Boyz. I just want to ask, did you see Jeff Hardy make his AEW debut?
I did see Jeff.
You see him dance on the way to the save?
That's what blew me away more than anything. You got some guys in there getting the hell beat out of them.
One of them's your brother.
And he still got to get... You know what, man? I thought I was the only one that saw that. I didn't think anybody was going to mention that. And the thing is, I was going to try not to mention it, but obviously it actually had to have made you feel a certain way for you to bring it up. What did you think about that, man?
Well, I mean, his brother's getting his ass kicked, and then the music hits. Obviously, big pop. It's Jeff Hardy, and it's his WWE music, which I thought was really cool that they pulled off his old WWE music. Oh, and then he comes out, and he just couldn't help himself. This is his debut, and he stops for a second to hit the Hardy shuffle, whatever you want to call that little dance move that he does with his hands.
Yeah.
And it just popped me. It popped me. And then he got in there and he took care of business. But it was funny.
God, man.
But we knew he was going to end up there eventually. So now the Hardys kind of get one more run at least as a tag team together. What do you hope to see from Jeff? Are there any matches that you see?
I hope he lead a damn dance, back in WWE. Okay, that's what I'm hoping to see going forward. Okay, I know that's gonna get picked up, but sometimes you gotta be able to change with the times, and leave old stuff behind. It's just like the movie, man. The Rocky movie. Too bad we got to get old, Stallion. Too bad we got to get old. And that's true, man. Too bad we got to get old. But you got to know how to, keep yourself young. You got to know how to, put yourself in a position where people don't look at you like, man, these just, some old guys out here still doing their old stuff and whatnot. And when he did that, I was like, oh, man, it kind of threw me off a little bit. But there again, it's Jeff Hardy. I'm glad to see Jeff and Matt back together as a tag team. I said those guys, they're brothers, man, to the bone. And I think they're better together as a tag team. For those guys to finish it the way they started it, I'm sure that's so important for those guys. I always say there again, I kind of finished it with my brother because we went in the Hall of Fame together, Yeah, seriously. But I think that right there for those guys, man, it's refreshing. I'm glad to see it. I'm glad to see those guys back together. Seriously.
Yeah, really cool. Really cool moment. Really cool moment. But we do have some big news that we'll talk about, I guess, on the other side of the break, Booker T.
Stick around, guys. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. We're talking about big news. Just went down early. What news you talking about?
I think that we'll be talking about the same news. A big announcement that we've known about for a little while finally came out today. Of course, regarding someone very near and dear to both of us, but more so someone you've been riding with for a very, very long time, got the call. Hey, Sharmell going in the Hall.
Hey, man, Sharmell's going in the Hall of Fame, man. I'm happy. I'm proud to see my queen, take her place inside the Hall of Fame. And the thing is, I've always said it many, many times, that Sharmell doesn't get, her just due. She didn't get the recognition that a lot of the girls have always gotten, as far as, come back and do this and whatnot. But for this, it's the ultimate recognition. It's the ultimate, stamp of approval saying, hey, man, we really appreciate everything that you've done, for the business as well as for this company. And the thing is, man, Sharmell was one of Vince's favorites, man. I mean, he definitely always loved, Sharmell's work. And Sharmell, I think even more so than myself. I always say sometimes, just like say, for instance, a couple, okay, and you think they like you. Okay, you think the people around you they like you, and then you realize later on in life, just say for instance, you and your wife got divorced, and none of those guys like you anymore. You realize they like your wife a whole lot more than they actually like you.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm serious. You know what I mean? So I think Sharmell she's always had that effect. With people, man. Everybody always have loved Sharmell for what she have brought to the table more than anything. She's always been genuine about this thing as well. It's no play acting with Sharmell. I remember, back in the day, that locker room, that female locker room was like in chaos. I mean, those women over there, man, they were just going crazy. Half the time. I was like, what the hell is going on? And Sharmell was like the locker room, I don't know, enforcer. You know what I'm saying? The locker room mom. I don't know what it was, but definitely, she's made her mark all the way from making her way into WCW as a Nitro girl, company going under her, going to OVW, coming out of that same class. A lot of people don't realize it, don't know, but Sharmell came out the same class with Batista, Randy Orton, all those guys.
Brock, John Cena, Shelton.
Exactly, you know what I mean? And the wrestling side didn't turn out for her because she blew her knee out down there training in the WWE OVW form league. And then, of course, the creation of, King Booker. I tell people, all the time, man, that was my best run. That was my most fun run in the business. And none of it ever would have happened, if it wasn't for Sharmell, because the King of the Ring tournament was not built for me to become the greatest king, in the history of, the King of the Ring tournament. It wasn't built for that at all. It was built around Sharmell, and I had a moment there, and I said, man, let me try to see if I can make this moment, something special at the same time. But that whole thing, all of the action figures that's created around Booker T, none of that would have happened as far as the King Booker action figures. None of that would have happened, if it wasn't for Queen Sharmell. So I'm just happy that she's getting her recognition and her just due finally, and it's the ultimate recognition, taking her place inside the Hall of Fame, right next to, her king. So it's going to be awesome night.
I think it's beyond exciting. I mean, when I found out, before, the world did, but, got that message about Sharmell going in the Hall, I immediately was like, well, this makes the most sense, because if Booker T deserves to be in the Hall of Fame as a singles, I think a lot of the reason you got in the Hall book as a singles was because of that King Booker run. I mean, would you have gone in otherwise? Sure, most likely.
Yeah.
Did that King Booker run solidify you in everybody's eyes as one of the top guys of all time? It did. And that run would not have been anywhere near as memorable and lasted anywhere near as long if you didn't have Queen Sharmell there. It was peanut butter and jelly. It just made so much sense. And a lot of the times, if I'm being honest, I hated Sharmell way more than I hated King Booker. Like she would drive me, Queen Sharmell would drive me crazy. The first live event I ever went to, I wanted somebody to shut her up so bad with the, oh, hell, King Booker. And so I think that without Queen Sharmell, the King Booker run isn't what it is. So for that alone, this is more than deserving. And I think that I'm happy to see her go in on a personal level, but also as a wrestling fan, it makes perfect sense to me. And of course, her in-ring career maybe not be the most spectacular of all time, but that's not what the Hall of Fame's about. The Hall of Fame is the impact that you made to the business at the time that you were there, right? And there aren't too many people who can say they competed at WrestleMania. They had a memorable run as a part of a duo that, went world title. I mean, how long was King Booker? It was like a year, right?
A little over a year, year and a half. And the thing is, that run, that King Booker run, I think about it, and I go, man, you talk about my career before King Booker, and you say, was it a good career? Yeah, it was a damn good career. I think I crossed off, every box as far as my singles career, but I think the King Booker run, I really don't think it could be denied as being perhaps one of the most memorable runs in the business. I really don't think. I really don't. I'm serious. And I'm not just saying that because it was me. Okay, I'm saying that because that run captivated the fans like like none other. And I really, truly just want people to understand that none of that, literally zero, none of that could have happened without Sharmell. It just wouldn't have happened. And just think about this for a moment. King Booker without Sharmell, I would probably be like Xavier Woods right now.
He's not Kofi.
And that's what I said. I say I had Queen Sharmell. Xavier, he has Kofi. No, just think about it for one moment.
I'm with you, though. I am with you.
Thing would not have worked. Just King Booker by himself. No way people would be talking about it today, other than it was probably the stupidest run, and left the asterisk on my career. As far as what I did with the King of the Ring, crown. It's nothing I could have done with it special. It's nothing that I could have done with it differently than anybody else if I wouldn't have had, Queen Sharmell. And I say that because of the Macho Man. I don't think the Macho Man could have been the Macho King without the lovely Queen Elizabeth. I just don't. His run wouldn't have been the same without Queen Elizabeth. So I don't know. I could be wrong, but I just must say I'm proud of my queen taking her place right next to her king inside the Hall of Fame. You know what? This family is going to have more rings than any family in the history of the business after this Hall of Fame induction of my lovely Queen Sharmell. All right, you got it? Because my brother, he got one, I got two. Because Sharmell, I mean, that right there, come on.
Right there.
It's a Hall of Fame family, damn it.
A Hall of Fame family. And by the way, I know we always talk about the Shook shirt and the Shucky Ducky shirt, but everybody needs to go make sure they go buy that Queen Sharmell merch available on WWEshop.com right now.
There it is, baby.
Look at that.
$27.99. They should have made it $30, man, but that's all good. $27.99. That's good. That's good. We get our cut. Everybody's happy. You know what I mean? You get your piece of the pie. Everybody's happy, man. But nah, man, I'm just there again, man. I'm stoked. I'm stoked my queen is going to be taking her place inside the Hall of Fame. Yeah, and guess what?
What?
You know who's going to be inducting her?
Who?
Me.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Broke a little news here.
Yeah. So
we're going to make the induction speech.
I'm going to make sure my queen have a safe passage inside the Hall of Fame. That's my job. That's the least I can do. But I tell you, man, we got a lot to talk about, man. We still got a lot more to talk about. We got to talk about Big E.
Mm-hmm.
Big E had a terrible accident went down this week, man. I'm gonna tell you, man, this business is tricky. From one day to the next, you just do not know what's gonna happen. It's not ballet or anything like that. We're gonna talk about what went down with Big E and Ridge Holland. It's Friday night on SmackDown. Guys, stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
So when I think back of my time on the Independents, I was there for a long time. I was busting my ass for 15 years on the Independents before I made it to WWE. And for a long time, I would say 95% of those 15 years, I had no idea if WWE even knew who I was, So I had no contact with them, no any kind of hope that I was going to make it here. I had hope, but I had no reason to believe that I would, except for my own belief in myself. But the Independent was crucial in keeping that passion alive, and it didn't matter if it was 20 people, 200 people, 2,000 people. On the independent scene, you get to have this interaction with fans and the fan base that's unlike anything, the scope of WWE. We get to interact with our fans, but nothing like on the independent scene. You're out there selling your own merch. You're out there hustling, trying to make as much money as you can. And that whole experience really kept my passion for wrestling alive, even though I didn't know if it was going anywhere. I wouldn't be who I am without that time I spent on the independent. So crucial for anybody, I think, to have that time.
Perfect. Can you dig it, sucker? Shoop! Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. Talking about the incident, the accident actually that went down on Friday Night SmackDown. Big E, Ridge Holland, belly to belly suplex. Big E actually took the brunt of that right there, landing on the top of his head. And after prognosis, Big E has a broken neck, no spinal surgery involved or any no spinal damage or anything like that. No surgery is going to be involved, but definitely a setback for Big E. What do you think about what happened with Big E on Friday night?
It was rough to watch. I didn't see it live. Actually, Kevin Bernhardt, our director of reality wrestling, texted me. He's like, "Hey, did you see Big E?" And then I immediately went and saw the clip. I mean, it was a tough one. It definitely reinforces how dangerous this industry can be. This form of entertainment, this sport can be. I was so glad to hear, though, that he didn't have to have any surgery, that nothing was displaced, that his spinal cord was okay, that he had full range of motion in all of his extremities and his fingers and toes and all his digits. That was very thankful. I would like to think, though, that if Big E wasn't as strong as he was with the legs and the traps and the strong neck that he had, it would have been different for other people, you know. And I don't know enough to know, Book, whose fault it was. I don't know if Ridge didn't get him up high enough. I don't know if Big E didn't rotate. I don't know. It doesn't really matter to me. What matters is there was a mistake that was made. Thankfully, this was the I guess without him having no damage, this was the best case scenario, right? I mean, it could have gone so much worse. We've seen some of, and because I'm only saying this because I saw Ridge Holland get a lot of flack online, even from some other people in the business and things like that.
Yeah.
And to me, you can be the safest guy or girl of all time and still make a mistake, right? We saw Drew McIntyre with Madcap Moss, right? Have a little mistake. I don't know if that was Drew's fault. I don't know if it was Madcap's, but either way, he landed on his neck. Owen Hart and Steve Austin was the first thing that came to my mind back in the day, where Owen just made a little small error, and Steve ended up, with years off of his career due to that. It definitely sucks. And I know you've been involved in a couple things, right? Where you got hit one time from the back. Was it Samoa Joe or something?
Yeah.
And it wasn't anything that he did other than just a normal going to hit you from behind, and you got a stinger, right?
Yeah. My legs totally was gone. I was like, what the hell's going on here? I mean, totally was wondering, but there again, it's not ballet, and I'm sure it wasn't something that he tried to do or anything like that. Safety is something that I always think about and something I always talk about at Reality Wrestling with my guys. I mean, and I'm not going to just sit here and look over or anything like that, because I have to use this kind of situation as a teaching experience as well. So, I mean, I know those guys were having a match and whatnot, and we go through stuff like that at Reality Wrestling, and two guys just say first they're going to do that spot. They come to me and say, "Hey, Book, we want to do this," and the first thing I go, okay, why are we doing that? And they're going to give me a reason, why they're doing it, or they're not. They're just going to say, "All right, we're just doing it," and that's the question you got to always ask yourself in that situation: is it something that we need to do? Are we going to get more out of this if we do this, or if we do that? What's going to be the payoff in a situation? So my thing is this: don't put yourself in a situation where stuff like that could happen if you don't need to. I always talk about your levels of how you're going to go out and perform. House show, you're going to perform a certain way. TV, you're going to perform a certain way. Pay-per-view, you're going to perform a certain way. And I just think about those levels as far as going out there working certain ways, because there again, I'm trying to think about my longevity. And Big E definitely, this one move is something that's going to, there again, take years off of his career. Big E always did that dive through the middle of the ropes, and that was another move that I was like, man, I hate that move. If it's something done on pay-per-view, I understand I'm throwing caution to the wind, but just doing it, just to do it, I don't believe in that. I said this about AEW as well. I said, man, the blood feud match, on a Wednesday night, it's not, it maybe not my cup of tea. But for pay-per-view, and I need to, get people, drawn into my show to watch, the weekly shows as well. I mean, I'm off into that. So, as well as, sometimes we do have to throw caution to the wind. Safety issues, may arise just because, we're getting a little bit more animated as far as what we're going out here and doing. So I understand it from every perspective, but man, that protocol, man, safety first in this business. And I think a lot of guys need to start thinking about that, especially these days, watching a lot of these matches on the indie scene where guys are going out there and purposely, putting themselves in position where they can easily go to the hospital.
Yeah, you definitely need to be careful. I mean, again, I know just from sitting around you sometimes at Reality of Wrestling and listening to your ideas of, okay, why do you need that? I could see why that move wasn't necessary to do. And but the other, on the other side of the coin, they can say, Ridge or Big E say, oh, we've done this 100 times. It's always easy. It's nice. And then at the end of the day, a mistake was had, whether they should have done the spot or not. It was rough to see, and I'm just glad that he's going to be okay. In my thing with coming back from an injury is come back as fast as you can, but as slow as you must. Last thing you want to do is rush back. Didn't you have an issue where you came back with your knee and it was too soon?
Yeah. I tore my PCL and I got it scoped, and I wouldn't necessarily say I came back too soon. I just didn't rehab properly. I thought I was rehabbing properly, and I just didn't do the job properly, and then came back and hurt it again, and I was out, for there maybe another 6 months. But that time I went through some extensive rehab, to get myself back on track. So yeah, he's definitely going to have to, go through a lot of pain. A lot of sleepless nights, getting himself prepared to, step back in the ring, and then there again, stepping back in the ring, that's going to be a touch and go situation after you broken your neck. But we know it can be done. You look at a guy like Kurt Angle, who broke his freaking neck and won a Olympic gold medal. So we know it can be done. Just like you was talking about Big E having so much muscle around the neck and the trapezius and the shoulders, I'm sure that helped him a whole lot as far as not going through what most probably would have gone through in that situation right there. I'm sure his recovery time, just that alone, having that is going to help him a whole lot. So yeah, man, I just want to see Big E back on track, back in action, and hopefully get his piece of the action and champagne wishes and caviar dreams on one day. We'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, obviously there's this goes without saying, there's never a great time to break your neck. That goes without saying. It does suck that it's so close to WrestleMania, especially with Big E having the run that he had as of late as WWE champion. You kind of want to still go out there on the big show and enjoy kind of the fruits of your labor at WrestleMania. But you know what? You're right. Right now, he's got to think about his rehab. He's got to think about his health, and he's got to come back. We do have a super chat here on the subject of Big E. And guys, I know y'all been sending in super chats. We're going to save them for the back half of the show. We'll get to him here in a minute. But this one is on topic. Being one of the first Black world champions in WWE, how do you feel on how WWE booked Big E, Kofi, and Lashley to drop to Brock Lesnar in ridiculous fashion? This is going off that narrative we talked about a couple of weeks ago, Book.
Yeah, I mean, I look at I'm not going to look at it the black issue as far as Brock Lesnar beating the guy because he was the champion. He just happened to be black. Again, I say Brock Lesnar's beating all the white champions too. So let's just take that and put it to the side a second. Okay, and let's book the match. Let's book the match with Kofi and Brock Lesnar. Okay. How do you see that match playing out? Okay, you personally, okay, you booked this match, okay, and it's let's just say, for instance, Francis Ngannou versus Dustin Poirier. Okay, that's what we got here, pretty much.
Yeah, we got 265 and 170.
Okay, that's what we got here. We got Francis Ngannou and Dustin Poirier. How do you see that fight playing out?
Yeah, I see Francis dusting him off pretty quickly.
So So I don't see a controversy there. I'm trying to think from a realistic perspective. The way Big E lost it, I didn't see any harm in the way Big E lost. I mean,
And it was in a 5-way match.
if you could tell me the harm that you saw as far as with Big E losing the championship that way, let me know, because I don't see any controversy as far as the way this thing has played out as far as Brock Lesnar, winning his championships the way he has. And I'm not against the booking of the way it was booked with Kofi Kingston, because I'm not one of these guys just thinking, well, it's like a movie, it's like a superhero. I'm not thinking that way. I'm thinking from a realistic perspective. And if I look at it from a realistic perspective, that perhaps maybe what would have happened. Could we have done it a little bit differently? Yes, we could have. But it would have been close. Okay. I know
real quick. Brock and Kofi did wrestle before on pay-per-view. And you know what happened?
What happened?
The same thing.
Exactly my point. Stick around, guys. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
My name is Nathan Wasser, and I'm from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. I came down here to Reality of Wrestling to improve my training and get myself more experience learning from the absolute best. It's intense. It's hard. You got to leave your ego at the door and come in with an open mind. The way they do stuff here is the next level. But if you do that, you'll end up bettering yourself in the end, and you'll improve, and you'll be able to work anywhere.
Nathan, he's an unbelievably awesome student. I'll tell you why, right? For a few reasons. Number one, the man packed up all the way from the Great White North to move down here to the U.S. to train because he wanted to learn from one of the best. But what's even more impressive, on top of the fact that he takes care of his body, he works hard, is the fact that he was trained by a very reputable trainer and yet still comes down here humble, hungry, ready to work and ready to learn, and not coming in here acting like he knows everything or that he's too rigid in his ways.
Booker's knowledge will help you get to whatever goals you want to do if you want to be a big star in this industry. My end goal is to be in WWE. Coming down here to Reality of Wrestling, I feel is the best opportunity for me to get there, so I'm going to do whatever it takes. I can promise you, when you come to Reality of Wrestling, it will change your life. You will not regret it.
Can you dig it, sucker? Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. Man, raise it. That's another story, but where we at, man? Where we got any more super chats?
Well, we have a ton of super chats. If you're ready to read them,
let's roll with it.
I've been kind of saving them a little bit here. So let's go for our first super chat of the day. Comes from Ken, terminated by DQ. Well, I prefer Miss Elizabeth and Colonel Parker in the Hall of Fame. I'm very happy for Sharmell. By the way, any stories about Liz or Robert Fuller in WCW?
Oh man, I only got one story about Robert Fuller in WCW, and it was a night to where we was going to Disney and doing some tapings in Disney, and for some reason Colonel Parker didn't have a room, so he was like, "Hey, boys, you mind if I room with you guys?" You know what I mean? We like, yeah, that's no problem. So Colonel Parker, he gets his stuff and he comes in the room with my brother and I kind of knew how this thing was going to play out before it all started, right? All right, and because I've been with my brother for years, and I was like, I knew exactly what was going to happen. So it's literally about midnight, 1 o'clock. All the lights are off in the room, right? In the hotel room. I'm asleep on one side, Colonel Parker's over here, whatever, and my brother's over here. And my brother's snoring like crazy. I mean, like bad, like real bad, you know what I mean? And Colonel Parker, at one point, all the lights off, I'm playing like I'm asleep. So I'm just listening. And it goes down. My brother like calms down just a little bit, and Colonel Parker goes, "God, if you could just stay right there. you just stay right there. I'll be able to get some sleep. And just please, please. And then my brother hit another high note. Wow, wow. And Colonel Parker go, oh my God, no, I can't do this. And literally talking like he's like literally deep in the country. Rob Parker, he gets up in the dark. He gets all of his stuff together. He bails out of the hotel room. I'm laughing like crazy. He goes get him. Find him a hotel room. He get him a room. We see him the next day. You know, it's Colonel, what's going on, man? What happened to you? Oh, brother, you know, such and such happened. My wife came in and I had to go and get a room. Oh, man. I was like, I never told him about it. I never said anything about it as far as why Colonel really got up and got out of that room. But my brother gave him the blues, man. But on another note, man, I definitely want to see Colonel Parker go in as well as a little bit. But I'm happy there again for Sharmell. I always say, you know, what determines, you know, your time to go into the Hall of Fame because no doubt, I said I'm a big Nasty Boys fan. I said the Nasties, I thought they should have taken their place before Harlem Heat. You know, I thought that, you know, just because those guys worked in the WWF back in the day, and I thought they were deserving of it, and I still do. I think they should be in the Hall of Fame. But I don't make those choices. I always said, man, damn it, y'all want to put me in the Hall of Fame? I'm way too young to go in the Hall of Fame. You know, back in 2013, I was not ready for that.
Right.
When the call came, man, I was like, hey, man, I appreciate it because what this is my moment to actually be able to tell the fans, man, I appreciate you guys. I thank y'all for, you know, supporting me and, you know, being a, you know, part of this ride. More than anything, I think that's what the Hall of Fame represents is being able to thank the fans for, you know, what they've done for us. And for Sharmell to actually get a chance to do that, man, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be, we're going to be celebrating this whole month.
Oh man, I cannot wait.
Wait to get the king and queen photos, to bundle package together and get out on the road, man. We're going to go to work.
I see it now. Roger says, keeping the legend Scott Hall in my prayers. We appreciate you, Roger. So are we. Cali Toenail said, I'm saddened with the news of Scott Hall. He brought a lot to the table with Click and NWO. He was my whole teen attitude. I'm grateful he got his due in the Hall of Fame. Well, he's got more. He's got more to come. That's what I think, Booker T.
I think so.
And here is our next one. We have a ton of super chats here. Cali Toenail again. Can you get those passes on Oculus? Oh, I think he's talking about 2K. I don't know if 2K is on Oculus. I'm not sure. Do you know if 2K?
I don't know.
That'd be pretty dope. Here comes a DJ who says, congrats, Sharmell.
Boom.
Has she ever been approached to be a manager for Sasha or Bianca in WWE? I think starting a Queens faction could be really cool.
You know what? That's a really, really good idea.
That's a great
idea. And the thing is, I don't think there's been a better queen in WWE besides better than Sharmell. I know Zelina Vega, she's doing a really good job right now.
Yeah.
I'm sure she got a couple of pointers from, you know, that's another story. But yeah, man, Sharmell definitely is one of the greatest queens that ever wore the crown.
Yeah, I saw Zelina give a big shout out to Sharmell on social media today. Joe Compton, my high school Spanish class name came from Scott Hall. I always used to throw toothpicks at my cousin like Razor used to. I hope he kicks out of this. This hits home. I wish I could have met him. The toothpick thing, by the way, Booker, is something that every wrestling fan has done. Whenever I was a kid and I saw toothpicks at a restaurant, I put one in my mouth. I put one behind my ear. I do the little thing that he did. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, everyone's done that.
Yes, I heard. I was listening to Kevin Nash. I was reading something that he was saying about Scott Hall. He said, you know, if he does, you know, make it to heaven, you know, hope there's a gold-plated toothpick waiting for him. It is iconic how he's made the toothpick, you know, popular. Part of his character, part of his gimmick, you know, the toothpick. You know, and I don't know if that's something that's, you know, was just a gimmick or if it was just something, you know,
already.
You know what I mean? Because to have a gimmick to where you know you got to stop and get some toothpicks on a regular basis. I don't think that's something that you normally would be thinking about. But to make it popular, That's the true wrestler right there. To be able to make the toothpick popular is uncanny, man. It's genius. And it's the little bitty things that I talk about as far as professional wrestling. Those are the little bitty things I talk about all the time. Being able to find something and make that one little bitty thing your own, to what people equate that to you. It's like the spin-a-rooney. Anytime you see somebody on their back doing a spin move, it's going to be called a spin-a-rooney.
Yeah.
Now, throughout the history of the annals of time, that's what it'd be called. But hey, man, there it is. We got another one.
Yeah, we got more. Albert says, I have nothing against your girl Booker, but she shouldn't be going in before Miss Elizabeth, whom I'm sure you adore as we all do. Liz should have been right in after Sherry. Well, this goes back to what you were saying a second ago. Who's to determine when someone gets in? Miss Elizabeth should be in the Hall of Fame. She will be eventually.
I think Elizabeth is going to be going in. And the one thing I think about also is Elizabeth, you know, she's a highlight in the business. And I'm sure she's going to be taking her place in the Hall of Fame. There again, do I agree with that statement right there? 100%. Elizabeth should be going into the Hall of Fame, or should have already been, you know, in the Hall of Fame, perhaps. You know what I mean? But there again, man, my queen, she's definitely she ain't gonna turn it down.
Hell no. Thunderwolf says, hey Brad, hey Book, talk about couples goals, the most royal, the most majestic couple walking the Hall of Fame together. Congratulations to the queen.
No, it's true, man. It's true. King Booker and Queen Sharmell, our run was a Hall of Fame worthy run. I mean, take my whole career away and just think about the run that King Booker had. It was pretty iconic, I must say. Even though I was at the helm, you know, I was right there in the middle of all of it. And I go back and I watch that stuff today, and I go, wow, man, we did that. Sometimes Sharmell and I, we just veg out watching some of the stuff, and we just laugh so freaking much. Just think about it. Sharmell and I, we did our damnness to make the Boogeyman WrestleMania moment the greatest moment that he would have in his life.
Yeah.
It wasn't about us at all, you know. And the thing is, I didn't take the worms. Sharmell took the worms. Okay? I'm serious. Sharmell took the worms. You know, I mean, Sharmell's done a hell of a job. Just the angle, you know, with Bobby Roode and TNA, you know. Some really, really great work. Everybody say Sharmell had a, you know, she had a match in TNA. It wasn't the greatest match in the world, but I'm gonna tell you right now. I told Sharmell a long time ago. I said, "Baby, you're not a wrestler." I said, "That's not your place in this business." But I'd be damned if she didn't find her place still in this business, outside of, you know, the square circle. So there again, man, if you could find your way in this and make a mark, big ups to the queen. Big ups to the queen. We got to take a break before we get back into the super chats. Stick around, guys. We'll be back in a minute. Judge a book by its cover. You know, you can look at someone and just like, say, for instance, I had a kid came to my school when he was 17 years old. And I asked him to get in the ring and to do one roll, you know, do a right roll, a left roll, and do a front roll, you know, kind of like my 8-year-old kid does. And he couldn't do it. And I was like, man, you might want to try something else. You know, I don't think this is going to be for you. I said, I tell you what, when you're 18 years old, come back. And he left. 18 years old, kid came knocking back again. And I say, let me see you try those rolls again. He couldn't do those rolls, you know, worth of crap. I said, I tell you what, go work out for 6 months and come back, all right? Kid worked out as much as he could, came back 6 months later. And I said, let me see those rolls. still couldn't do those roles. I said, why do you want to do this? And he said, I've been wanting to do this my whole life. And I said, okay, I'm going to sign you up. Signed the kid up. He sit on the sidelines for maybe 6 months to a year, and he was training, and he was just taking notes and taking notes and taking notes. Finally, we had a show, and the kid couldn't show up. And I said, hey, man, I'm going to put you in a match tonight. All right, just get in the ring. Let me see what you can do. He got in the ring. He showed me a little bit of something. He looked okay. Still couldn't do those roles, okay? But he looked pretty good in the ring. Next thing you know, next show, I put the kid on the show again. He went out and did even better. Next show, he did even better. And it just started rolling after that. And he became the Reality of Wrestling champion. He was a champion for a year straight. Nobody could beat him. But he still couldn't do those roles. So I learned to say you cannot judge a book by its cover. Can you dig it, sucker? Shup! Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. I don't know, breaking news here, guys. I don't know how newsworthy this is. I don't know if it's true or not. WrestlingNews.com just reported. Looked like Cody Rhodes has signed his WWE contract and will be wrestling at WrestleMania. And it indicates that Cody Rhodes will be on Raw tonight to set up a match with Seth Rollins, according to a reporter by the name of Meltzer. Yeah. Yeah, that's just breaking news right there. I don't know how true that is, but we may see Cody Rhodes on Monday Night Raw tonight. If that happens, man, that's big. That's big news, especially heading into WrestleMania. Seth Rollins versus Cody Rhodes. That would be a huge WrestleMania match, unexpected. I don't know. I don't know if it's true or not, but here we go. Here we go.
Well, we'll find out here in just a few hours. Raw is in Jacksonville, Florida tonight, I do believe, which is home of All Elite Wrestling. They're probably never.
That would be a big cool. That would be a big spoiler too. I mean, breaking the news in Jacksonville. Oh man, that would be
great.
That'd be big news.
That'd be great. So we'll see if it happens. Let's get to a couple of these super chats real quick because I know people have been waiting for their answers here. Ken terminated by DQ. Brad missed my super chat earlier. I'm happy Sharmell's going in the Hall of Fame, but I prefer Liz or Colonel Parker. We did get to that one, Ken. So sorry about that you gave us another one. We have another one from Hetty Murphy with nothing to say. So we appreciate you, Hetty Murphy, for giving the $5 donation as we continue on down the rabbit hole. A lot of them today. Here we go. Oh, we got to that one already. Maybe we are out, book. Oh, here we are. Nope. Sorry about this. There's a bunch of them today. Ken really thought that I missed his super chat twice. I didn't. Roland Curtis. As Wikipedia mentions that Booker T was the first non-mixed Black American WWE World Champion. Sharmell is the first and only Black American Queen of WWE. Sharmell is also the only WWE definitional queen via marriage to the King of the Ring. There you go.
As well as, former Miss Black America as well. Sharmell's a star in her own right. I mean, of course she doesn't get, the credit there again. I think she deserves, but this right here is the recognition for me, is the ultimate recognition from the company saying, hey, Sharmell, we look at you as one of our Hall of Famers, man, and we appreciate your work. So I'm backing her 100%. And there again, and it's not saying that I don't think other people like Elizabeth should not be in the Hall of Fame or shouldn't have been in the Hall of Fame already or anything like that. And I know this one of those things, this one of those stories that's going to be debated. I told Sharmell, I say, baby, you better get ready for the haters to come out.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to come out. They're going to be saying this and they're going to be saying that. But for me, I'm only concentrating on the people that's supporting Sharmell, that's behind her 110%. That's happy to see her get her shine more than anything. And there again, I'm sure all these other people that we're mentioning and thinking about, they're going to get their shine. Hopefully, a lot of people, never know when their time is going to come. And I'm just glad her time did come. Seriously, more than anything.
Ben says, hey, Booker, great meeting you on Saturday. How'd you enjoy your time in Scotland?
Man, I had a great time in Aberdeen, man. So I'm just, like I said, I just landed. I just got off a flight from London, like about an hour and a half ago or so, like that. And I tell you, man, I had such a great time hanging out with the people over in Scotland. I did a panel and got a chance to do a Q&A with a lot of fans over there. And I tell you, it was the most enjoyable time of my trip in Scotland. So I can't wait to come back to Aberdeen. Some people was like, man, have you ever been to Aberdeen before? I'm like, man, I don't remember. I don't know. I know I've been to Scotland before, but Aberdeen, I'm not sure. And somebody said, yeah, man, you wrestled Kurt Angle here in 2005. And I go, oh, yeah, that's right. I did come to Aberdeen. And I remember also when I went to the airport this morning and I got off the bus that took me to the airport, I go, oh, yeah, I've been here before. It's one of those type of deals, you know? So, yeah, man, can't wait to get back to Aberdeen. Had a great time. Other than the weather, they got to fix that.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if God can do a little extra time on his meteorology work there. We have Callie Toenail, who says, I think they're just working up Charlotte versus Ronda in a submission match only. If so, do you see Ronda tapping? It's shaping up nice, but can it be done?
Yeah, it can be done. This is professional wrestling. And the thing with Ronda, I love having Ronda Rousey back. Let's just say that first of all. She definitely brings a whole lot of power, star power, let's just say that, to the women's division. Immediately there's a spark there. Just got to figure out how to, keep the flame going. In order to do that, you got to put Ronda Rousey in a situation to where she's going to have to fight from the bottom. That's just always the way the business has gone. So I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know how they're going to get there. But you ask the question, can it happen? Yes, it can happen. And I think that would be the best route to take, actually. That's just my opinion. What do you think about that, Brad?
I mean, yeah, anything can happen. I think a submission match is a good idea. I really like that idea. Arm bar versus the figure four. It writes itself there. So I know that I think Ronda tapped Charlotte the other day on television or something to that effect. So
it may be just say, for instance, it's a submission, non-disqualification submission match.
Right.
That right there, man, I can buy that. I can buy that all day long. Like I say, I don't want to book the show or anything like that. But if I was booking it, oh my God, I see something really, really cool happening here to keep everybody in a position of where we can say, oh man, we really getting ready to start cooking with Crisco here in a minute. Just stick around. That's what I'm talking about more than anything.
Make it hot like Crisco.
Get it real hot.
Yeah. I think they could do that. But here's my question about WrestleMania this year. And I want to ask you because it was going around online. WWE put out this post of what WrestleMania match are you looking most forward to? And the three faces that they featured on this post were Pat McAfee, Logan Paul, and Johnny Knoxville. Do you think WrestleMania has always had celebrities? And I've always been very pro celebrity at WrestleMania. I think it's a great thing to get celebrity involvement. Do you think there's too many celebrity matches this year at the 2-night stupendous extravaganza known as WrestleMania?
Well, if it was just one night, I would say that.
Mm-hmm.
It being 2 nights, I figure we can get away with a little bit more showbiz. Yeah. I don't know what Logan Paul is going to be doing. What is Logan Paul?
He's in a tag match. It's Logan Paul and Miz versus the Mysterios.
Okay. There again, I don't know what Logan Paul is going to be doing.
Brother's going to be taking a 619 twice. I'll tell you that much.
That's why I said that the first time, Brad. Okay. Yeah. We'll see how it play out. Let's just say that. We'll see how it play out. WrestleMania has always been a place where we brought the stars out. Even myself have been in a position where, stars have been used, like Kevin Federline with John Cena back in the day. It always worked according to how you position these guys. So we'll see how it play out. I must say this. I've been loving the hell out of Johnny Knoxville.
He's the best.
I could, you could look at me and say, what the hell is you talking about, Booker T? But I've really been digging the entertainment value that Johnny Knoxville been bringing to WWE TV. Because there again, guys, it's wrestling. It's supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be something that you losing sleep over or anything like that. And for Johnny Knoxville to be living his best life, having some fun inside the WWE ring. Boom, big ups, man, big ups. Him and Sami Zayn, the angle that even the way Sami Zayn lost the title, it was perfect. It was perfect. So for me, I like it. Let's see exactly how this thing play out.
That's actually out of the celebrity matches, the one I'm looking the most forward to. I'm really looking forward to Johnny and Sammy. I think that they've actually had a long-term build-up, right? It's been going on for 3 or 4 months. This match build-up has. So I like it. I think he's really entertaining. Overall, we have another super chat here. I think we have time to take it before we go to the break. This is from Roland Curtis. Scott Hall as Razor Ramon was tastefully done, and his accent and attitude as Razor was believable as Mark Calloway acting as The Undertaker. It's a shame we never got Taker versus Razor for the IC title. Yeah, Razor Ramon was one of those gimmicks. They just nailed it. It was perfectly done. There's no complaints about Razor Ramon. Everything that he did was from the hair, the music, like I said, we talked about the toothpick earlier. Hey, Chico. Everything that he would do was perfect.
Yeah. You go back and watch Scott Hall, okay? And you watch him morph into what he became as far as Razor Ramon. And that's a dude that's totally just throwing everything out there and say, man, I'm finna show you guys something totally different than that I've been doing and what you have seen before. I mean, that's a guy that was him. That was all him. And I implore young guys to find that because he was doing nothing more than playing the role of Tony Montana. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's what he was doing, just playing the role of Tony Montana, mm-hmm. and it worked for him. It worked. It took him all the way to the bank. For me, I've always been able to morph into a character and be able to play that character a whole lot better than being myself on screen. So young people need to look at Scott Hall and how the real Scott Hall and how he morphed into Razor Ramon, such as Booker T and the King Booker, something that you say, man, I got a blank canvas here and I'm finna go out here and make something special that's going to be remembered, forever. And that's what Scott Hall did. He was definitely a trailblazer. Stick around, guys. We got one more segment. We'll be back in a minute. About yourself, as far as that grind, how much do you actually embrace it? How much do you actually feel like that is a part of this journey?
Oh man, well, thankfully now the scene in where I'm from, I'm living in Oklahoma right now, and I wrestle in Texas. But thankfully now the scene is kind of growing with the streaming platforms, with places like Reality of Wrestling down there in Texas. You get a bigger buzz here, but for years it was hard, and so you had to get out there and travel. So there'd be many a nights where I was on the road by myself, 7, 8, 9, 10-hour drives there and back, sacrificing time with my family, sacrificing time at my real job, trying to just make ends meet. But when you really love this, and I tell people this all the time, some people just love coming through the curtain. You can't just love coming through the curtain. Yeah. When you really love this, you fall in love with the ground. Fuego del Sol hates squats, man. I hate deadlifts. But if you really love this, you got to learn to love all of it. Every facet of it, every bit of sacrifice, every bit of time that you're losing with birthdays, loved ones, all of that.
Yeah.
When you really want it, when you really sacrifice, and when you start to see it pay off, you realize all of that is worth it and then some for this.
Can you dig it, sucker? Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. I know we got super chats. Let's keep the super chat line rolling, man.
Let's super chat it up. Hetty Murphy, thoughts on Ziggler winning the NXT title, and do you think he will hold it for long? Yes, Dolph Ziggler beat Tommaso Ciampa and Braun Breaker on NXT 2.0. He is the new NXT champion. What are your thoughts, BT?
Man, I think there again, what they're doing with NXT now, I like it. You know, a lot of people, want the old NXT back, and I just don't think the old NXT formula did the main roster any real service. Okay, and I just say that because I always thought that the main roster, just say for instance, and let's just keep it real here for a second. Over WrestleMania period, there for a couple of years, the main roster was competing with NXT. That was their biggest competition.
Yeah.
As far as the NXT takeovers, those things were huge. Okay, so competing against yourself, in my estimation, it's just not a good thing. Okay, I could be wrong. What do you think?
Competing against yourself isn't a great idea. So I like the new NXT. Are there elements of the old one that I preferred? Yes, absolutely. I mean, I like the grit of the other NXT. It felt a little bit different. But aside from that, I like that we're getting these new faces on TV every week. I mean, and think about a character and a performer the style of a Braun Breaker. You wouldn't have gotten him in the old black and gold NXT. Like, that wouldn't have been the style of guy that was presented. It was more so the Tommaso Ciampa, Adam Cole variety, Johnny Gargano kind of types. Wouldn't have really seen a Braun Breaker. So for that, I liked it. And I think that it's a great idea to put Dolph Ziggler in there with Braun. I think that Dolph probably holds it to NXT Stand and Deliver in Dallas. Braun Breaker gets that title back. Makes perfect sense to me because Dolph is a vet, tried and true. One thing you can't question about him is his in-ring ability and his ability to make somebody else look way better than they could have ever dreamed they would look on their own. And to program him with a guy who's still getting, his feet under him of a Braun Breaker, it's hyper speed, right? It's like, let's coach him up quickly by putting him in there with a guy like Dolph.
Yeah. No doubt, man. Dolph Ziggler is player coach. That's what I look at Dolph as. Player coach. Dolph can teach those guys down there a load as far as knowledge goes. That these guys are able to use forever. I look at a guy like Dolph Ziggler, and he hasn't lasted in the WWE because he's a crappy worker or anything like that. Okay, he haven't lasted in the WWE because nobody likes him. Okay, that's not the reason why Dolph Ziggler has made it, and he hasn't stuck around just because people like him. He's stuck around because he's talent. He knows exactly what his job is, and we was just talking off the air, and we was talking about a couple of guys that went out and worked on our show, and the guy perhaps didn't give his best performance because he knew he was losing. Okay, you're never going to find that in Dolph Ziggler. Okay, you're never going to know what Dolph Ziggler is thinking before the match, because every match for Dolph Ziggler has been the same since day one, and that's going out there and doing the best job to my ability to whatever else comes along. But whatever comes along, I'll be prepared for it, like going down to NXT, winning the NXT championship, and bring all of these guys up to a certain level that I can work with down here. So that right there for me, that's a general. That's a true general to the game right there as far as Dolph Ziggler goes.
Yes, it makes a ton of sense. We have another super chat here. Bryant Book, should Mania go back to just one night?
What the heck is that?
Not me.
I don't know. What was that, man? Somebody just on the FaceTime. Should it go back to one night? I don't know.
This is the third time they've done 2 nights, but it's really the first time they've done it with the world up and running again.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Also, I mean, the world is up and running right now. Maybe next year it may be time to go back to one night. Right now, just say for instance, Texas Stadium to put over 100,000 people in there for one night. I think that would be, a safety issue, perhaps. Right now, still with COVID, still raging a little bit, but to put 40 to 50,000 people in there each night, have it a little bit more spread out. I know people are going to say, "Oh man, that's not going to make too much of a difference." But from a optics perspective, as far as me going out of the way to try to make sure I do my part, I think having 2 nights right now is still sufficient. But like I say, maybe next year, if the world is completely open and we can all go, just think about it. I mean, Brad and I, we haven't been to Vegas one time in 2 years, just because they don't want us, to be in that environment up close and personal. The Fox Studios, you look at the television, and you look at these guys doing their shows. Everybody's still in a different studio. Everybody right now still in a different studio. So I think that's part of the reason why we're doing 2 nights. I could be wrong, but I think that's part of it. Trying to still make as much as we possibly can out of that week.
I agree, but I also say this: once you start going to 2 nights, it's really hard to go back. You know what I mean? It's like a government program. Once they make Social Security, you can't unmake Social Security. Right?
Yeah.
So I think once you go to 2 nights, it's hard to go back to just one. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, anything can happen. Albert says you missed my super chat after Mr. Rollins earlier. It's about Scott Hall. By the way, got to be cool to be in WWE 2K22. I'll go find that one here, Albert, here in a second. This is Ray Philly S. Carolina. Hey, Book, are there any tag team that you wish you and Stevie Ray could have faced but couldn't because they worked in WWE or ECW?
The Dudleys. The only tag team that we want to really beat the hell out of. You know what I mean? We want to shut that damn Bubba Ray up, and we want to, Devon, I'm going to tell you right now, I still got a gripe to whoop Devon's ass. You know what I mean? But right now, I know he's going through a whole lot, and I'm going to let him off the hook right now. But the Dudley Boys is definitely a tag team that we want to mix it up with, and it's a team out there right now running around calling himself the FTR. If my brother is available at any time around Dallas, we're calling out the FTR. Let's just put it out there right now. FTR, we putting you on notice right now. If you want some, you can get some. If you can get Tony Khan to let you, come take a ass whooping, and it won't be a black mark, no pun intended, on the company. That we can do this.
Okay, there you go. The challenge has been laid out for Dallas. Positive vibes only. I wouldn't.
Yeah, a black mark. I'm talking about the brothers. You know what I mean? Bringing it hard.
I think I picked up on it, Book. I knew what you meant. See this guy. This is the guy I can't do this shit. Okay. Still making these jokes. Positive vibes only. I wouldn't mind seeing Bianca and Rhea in NXT chopping it up with Raquel and Lash Legend in some capacity. Sure.
Hey man, Lash Legend, man, she's been getting a lot of pub lately. I want to see Lash Legend actually make it to that next level. Actually, I've been watching her work, and of course, she's somebody that need perhaps a little bit more expert tutelage. Maybe she can come down to Reality of Wrestling. I'm just throwing this out. Lash, if you really want to, know what it means to step inside that square circle and know every inch of it, come on down to Reality of Wrestling and work out with me over this WrestleMania weekend. And I will show you just a few tricks of the trade. That's all, just a few tricks.
And you're probably the only other person in the history of wrestling who's worked closely and trained with another Lash.
Exactly. Right? Yeah. Two lashes. Whiplash LaRue back in WCW.
There you go. Yeah. So anyway, there you have it. Those are all our super chats here.
Great, man, because we got 1 minute left here. We got to get up out of here, man. Thank everybody, all the super chatters, man. Like I said, I know I'm a little jet lag. I'm a little out of it right now, making that 10.5-hour flight from Heathrow Airport in London, man. But again, I had a great time over in Scotland. Can't wait to do it again. All the super chatters today. I want to thank all you guys for representing Hall of Fame, like we always do, as well as you, Brad. Always representing, man. I appreciate all the hard work you put in at the show over the weekend, as well. And like I say, guys, if you haven't checked out Reality of Wrestling, go to YouTube, check it out. We do new shows on a weekly. I mean, we don't do no reruns or anything with Reality of Wrestling. I think we're up to 334 shows on YouTube. So guys, if you get a chance, go check out the Reality of Wrestling library. But right now, guys, we'll be back on Wednesday. But right now, I just want to say, shucky ducky quack quack, and we out of here. Can you dig it, you sucker?